Move along here. We've got people in the chat have been asking about this one. Asking you shall receive. Notre Dame and Navy. Very fascinating game. The undefeated midshipmen, but by far taking on their most difficult opponent so far this year against Notre Dame. They are 12-point underdogs here. This is a neutral field game at MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Jets and the New York Giants. 52 the total in this game between Notre Dame and Navy. So when you look at this, and I'm just going to make sure people are aware, it is in New York, MetLife Stadium, neutral field. I mean, I'm not stepping in front of Navy as double-digit dogs. I am concerned about the class step up and upgrade this is for Navy as far as quality of competition. You know, the one thing you can say about Navy is there's not been a chock full, and even you can say that to a lesser extent about Army as well. You know, Temple, Bucknell, Memphis was the best game they played, and they did play well in that 56-44. UAB, Air Force, Charlotte. This is a who's who of that's a pretty weak-ass schedule. And now you're facing Notre Dame. We'll see how they fare in it. Obviously, when you look at Navy, why are they having the success on offense this year? They're a team that's put up big points. It's actually been a combination of, you know, the passing game. They still run extremely heavy. Will it work here against Notre Dame? But Notre Dame is a great secondary. They are a little bit more susceptible against the run. So on defense, that is. Will they be able to run the football here is going to be the question. That being said, I will say this. It was a very good run defensive performance from Notre Dame against Georgia Tech last week. There was no run game to speak of. Jamal Haynes had 15 yards rushing on 8 carries. So Notre Dame's run defense is getting better. And that's obviously the concern. That's the critical matchup. If Navy's going to compete in this game, stay inside the number, got to have success with the run game, will they be able to? Because Notre Dame, yeah, their full season numbers are pretty good, but I think they've gotten even better the last few weeks against the run, Notre Dame. That's the biggest fear I have. I like what I see from Blake Horvath running that offense. Texa running the ball is very solid, the tailback, but will they have that success here against Notre Dame is the biggest question. I mean, I'm going to take Navy, but I am concerned that the run game may not work here because Notre Dame's run defense, you know, it's gotten better and better. And what they did against Jamal Haynes is a really good back. And Georgia Tech's a run-first offense by far. And there was no run game at all for Georgia Tech in that game. None. You got to give Notre Dame's run defense a lot of credit. That's the biggest fear I have, but I'm still going to take Navy here, getting the 12. C-Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, usually in this series too, Notre Dame either just blows them out or the games are tight.
Yeah,
it's like 10 points or less, like, you know, a touchdown.
No in between, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no in between in all these years, especially when I watch these. So can Navy? One thing of Navy, you mentioned Notre Dame, the defense, and last week it's kind of like those junk yards they gave up. They were better against the run against Georgia Tech. It gave up 260 yards, kind of with the lead. In that one, I think they'll have some success. But dude, Navy, I just look at the schedule here. Strength. I mean, the schedule has just been so soft. I mean, the Memphis win was decent, obviously, in that game. But I mean, UAB, Air Force, they've looked great. This one's tough. I want to take Navy too. Like I could picture them having some success in this game.
Type of deal. It's just yeah. And they did lose, 42-3 last year? Yeah.
That's what it just seems like these get away from them and they're just the blowout, or like if Navy's in, and I think maybe you'll know right away, like first quarter, like or so. And just can they hang tough here? But this kind of was a recipe. Northern Illinois, Vanno, just a slow team. They want to run the ball. They're not flashy, and just been a little bit of a problem for Notre Dame. So yeah, I lean their way.
Yeah, very interesting, though. That's a very intriguing.
This total, by the way, this total's high. Navy's been so successful, but for a Notre Dame game, it's a little up there.
And it stayed under this total last year. Last year was 45 points between these two teams, 42-3 Notre Dame.
They've had a lot of scoring games, though, over the years, though.
Yeah.
Some lower scoring, but they've been a lot of points when these teams have got together in the past.
No doubt. I will say this. The last 3 games now, Riley Leonard's starting to look like Riley Leonard again. You know,
he has looked better.
Riley Leonard was at his best for Duke. I mean, and he's starting to look that way again for Notre Dame the last few weeks. So that's another thing that Navy's got and he can run. And that's the biggest thing is Navy got the athletes and the speed to contain Riley Leonard in the run game because Riley Leonard likes to run the football. And I don't know how many mobile quarterbacks Navy's defense has faced this year. I don't think too many. So that would concern me too a little bit about Navy in this game.